Ok ragazzi, non abbiamo dovuto aspettare tantissimo in realtà per questo video intervista con i creatori di Marvel Spider-Man 2 e Across the Spider-Verse. Vediamo cosa hanno da dire, però vi anticipo subito ragazzi che non si tratta di un annuncio di un DLC, o almeno credo. Beh, vediamo ragazzi, non so esattamente di cosa si tratta, anche se più o meno penso che siano segreti, dettagli sullo sviluppo del film e del gioco. Vediamo, sono curioso. Oh, bello. Belle le immagini di Marvel Spider-Man 2 con Across. Sì, ma lo fanno il DLC, lo sappiamo. Parte 1. Ah, quindi ci sarà un altro video? Ok.
How to draw comics the Marvel way. So not only the book, which starts out with the book, but then I got the video cassette.
Ooh, wow.
And,
wow.
So even though it's about drawing comics, and of course what we're doing today is not exactly that. You're still posing the character and displaying them as dynamically and heroically as possible, which is what they're driving home as the Marvel way. And so there's this one section where they're showing like a panel that John Buscema has drawn. And he's done it mediocre. How the competitors would do it. Like, see, it tells the story.
Ok, adesso ci raccontano un po' quello che hanno fatto.
Drama and sheer excitement. And then Buscema chimes in. These panels are too vertical. They're too straight up and down, and they lack the power of a Marvel character. So I watch that so much that those things they're in my head, and so when we're in any review,
that's how he talks during the review.
With those voices.
Yeah, in any review,
voices.
their voices are in that review.
But I will say, like when we're on set,
Siamo su set.
Bobby will get into the pose and say, "This is how I want him to stand."
Ah. Si mettono in posa da Spider-Man quando fanno le riprese del gioco.
What was it like for you to join that team?
It was exciting, but it was also like everything that people loved, we loved it too, and we don't want to do any of that. One specific thing that I love so much about what we did do with our film, and it really goes back to comic books. In the first film, at the very end, Miguel O'Hara first shows up.
La comparsa di Michele,
Of course,
ok.
he's in our film. Miguel looks completely different. We don't explain it. When you read comic books and a new artist comes on, your characters just look different. It's the hand of a new artist.
Ok, quindi spiegano perché Michele è diverso dallo stile che aveva nel primo.
Our version of it. But that's what you love about.
Almeno così mi pare di aver capito.
Telling these stories and bringing on new creative voices, you want it to feel different.
Yeah.
And I think
that's how you get the best comics, right? It's like
and Phil and Chris are fantastic at allowing that to happen. They sort of they bring
Ah, guardate.
new voices in and they let those.
Qui sono le scene del film.
We had to tell really did require this technology. We couldn't have told this story the way we told it 10 years ago. All those advances had to be made. You had to
Bello comunque, mamma mia che cazzo di lavoro che devono fare.
All these different
E poi vi chiedete perché Beyond Spider-Verse non esce quest'anno. Guarda qua.
Like writing code and shaders for like decades to rig something as complicated as Olivia Octavius's, sort of tentacles that were like these soft robotics, that are sort of pulsing, breathing the whole
Ah, ok.
time. I mean, there's
Hanno avuto un po' di difficoltà a fare i
the
bracci
animators
meccanici
were
di Doc
controlling
Ock.
there. It was almost like
Anche perché erano
technology
particolari,
for
non
the
erano i soliti
wasn't
meccanici,
limitation.
quindi
All of our
era un po'
creative
diverso.
challenges were story.
Yeah.
Like we had these really complicated things like explain the web of life
Anche
and
spiegare il
destiny.
destino della vita era complicato. Ma infatti non era facile. Quando tratti il multiverso rischi sempre di fare un casino.
I started in games 24 years ago, and what you could do.
E adesso Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Incredibly limited. You were lucky if an animated character had fingers. If you look at that, and then you kind of look at where we are now, and just coming, from Spider-Man 1 to Spider-Man 2, the leap is still pretty incredible. Like the speed with which we can move through the environment. The environment is ray traced, even if you're over the top of New York. These things are incredible works of art, and the fact that they run in real time and get lit with ray tracing and real time shadows, it's just ridiculously awesome. It's just stunning what people.
Ah, guardate qui. Ah, questa è la scena di Doc Ock
to be able to play around
Bello,
and just,
qui la
make it
battaglia
the Marvel
finale.
way or whatever. But I mean, without them, there's none of this.
For me, I've spent at least, almost 5 years, I guess, thinking about Venom and the symbiotes and how to, depict them. I looked at the comics and I looked at all the various depictions of the
Ah, si sono ispirati anche a Spider-Man 3 per Venom, cioè in generale ai film, per gli effetti del simbionte, per lo stile. Ah, vedi, il simbionte puro, diciamo.
Smooth and curvy, and other times they're very angular and they're very thick. And I think I've spent the last 8 months of productions just drawing tentacles. Tentacles animating, tentacles
No,
moving,
8 mesi solo per fare i
things.
tentacoli, ragazzi. 8 mesi solo
And
per
we
i
were doing
tentacoli.
that, I think
Madonna.
until the day we shipped, we're still working on tentacles.
And then she's got me going.
Fino all'ultimo ci hanno lavorato.
Yeah.
It's gonna look good, right? It's gonna look good. And she's like, just shut up.
Yeah.
What I hope everyone noticed after the game out is how many people love your version of Venom.
It's also one of the reasons why.
È una bella versione quella di Venom di Insomniac, è molto figo.
This is too much pressure.
Molto bello,
I
sì.
remember working with our one of our dialogue managers, and I was like, just what if it was like someone like Tony Todd, like a Tony Todd voice, not thinking we would ever get Tony. And then Patrick, our dialogue manager, goes to a couple weeks later, goes, "You're not going to believe this, but I have a audition recording from Tony," and he said 2 lines. I'm like,
Allora avevano già in mente di prendere Tony Todd come Venom. Mamma che voce, tra l'altro, mamma mia. Brividi.
oh, yeah,
Total
this is
chill.
great.
We didn't have Venom in our movies, so there were no creative challenges.
Vabbè, nel film non c'è Venom, quindi sti cazzi.
This is me, Peter Parker.
I haven't told these guys the story, but I remember. So I'm working one night, and I get a phone call. It's from Yuri Lowenthal, who plays Peter Parker, and he goes, "I gotta tell you, I just recorded lines for the movie." I could just
Ah sì, perché c'è
sense the
Peter
smile
Parker
at
di Marvel Spider-Man Across.
that
Sì.
he got to be part of it.
Are you talking to me?
As we're getting closer and closer to your movie's premiere, and different posters were coming out, and when we would all see our Spider-Man with the white spider, we would instantly take a picture, share it with each other, and we'd say, "We exist!"
That's amazing.
We created something that is being added to the toy chest, and you embraced it.
We saw that relationship build with the audience too,
Yeah.
watching people get excited and knowing that you got excited to see yourselves represented and see people's
Yeah.
favorite
And
Spider-Man
people on our
show
crew
up.
that were like playing your game while they were working on the film. Like
Yeah.
we almost put one of your guys' glitches that made it into like we almost put like a
Which
a
one?
heater, like a space heater,
Oh,
like swinging
Yes,
through.
yes. From the Miles game, there was a space heater like that.
Ah, c'era sto bug in Miles Morales.
Fix that,
You
but
have
there's a
plenty
key-
of.
E questo è il cubo in Marvel Spider-Man 2.
I think the fact that we had a crew member that brought that up and said like, what about if there's like a space heater? Like that's true love.
Yeah.
This romantic tension is so palpable. How can you guys even concentrate?
We've been with this franchise, same people, for like 8 years. living this, and I feel like that's pretty unusual, in media or any great franchise to have the same people. And these projects they take a lot out of you personally, mentally, emotionally, but
Oh, che
having
strano
people
vedere le
around
scene
you
fatte
to
così
help you
comunque.
and to understand what you're going through, but then
Cioè ti
also
devi
to
immaginare, cioè gli
make
attori
you
devono
a better
immaginare
creator,
tutto,
too,
tutto devono immaginare.
is something that's really unique in, it's really unique to me in the industry. That's what I feel at least. And I feel very fortunate every day, to be working with you guys and, and the rest of the team.
In the end, I mean, we are only as good as the people we work with. We give 1,000 darts to people. They all stand up to throw it. And our job is simply to just go a little bit this way, a little bit that way. Okay, now let go. But honestly, they're the ones throwing the darts. They're the ones hitting the bullseyes.
Yeah.
They're the ones who make it possible even for us to see what's in our head.
What I really don't think we set out, but ended up being, was that the Pete Miles relationship, probably for me, ended up being the strongest relationship in the game because of how much their relationship evolves through some good times, but also some bad times, where it was Peter being there for Miles at the start, where Miles is more for Peter at the end, and they grow.
Vero,
I think
vero.
about my time in Insomniac and working with these two over here for now, 15 years and over 10 years with this one, and thinking about, I'm a better Insomniac and a better creative director because of these two. For me, the game represents what it feels like to be part of this team and this group. Like, I mean, I spend as much time with them as I do my real family. They are my family.
Yeah.
I would stand in
Vabbè,
front
ci
of a
credo,
bus,
ore e ore di lavoro.
I love how they've made a little kid's dreams come true.
Oh, beautiful.
Finito? Ok. Allora, beh, come per l'amore dell'intrattenimento, ok, vabbè, come avete potuto notare, ragazzi, insomma, non è stato rivelato niente, ma questa è una parte 1 per il momento. Magari la parte 2 sarà incentrata proprio sulla collaborazione del DLC. Allora ragazzi, il fatto è questo, non lo sappiamo perché l'hanno leccato, quindi deve semplicemente arrivare, è questione di tempo. E poi, vabbè, anche solo il fatto di vederli insieme che parlano, è impossibile che non hanno collaborato per qualcosa. Hanno già collaborato in realtà per la presenza di Peter di Marvel Spider-Man in Across, seppur una piccola presenza. C'è stato un piccolo easter egg di Across in Marvel Spider-Man 2, però questo video fa capire che c'è altro, ragazzi, c'è altro, e il DLC di Marvel Spider-Man 2 è una possibilità, anzi è una realtà che sappiamo arriverà, quindi è solamente questione di tempo. Per quanto riguarda il contenuto di questo video, allora, qualcosina interessante, ecco, tipo la roba dei tentacoli, però mi aspettavo qualche informazione in più, sinceramente, di interessante. Sono stati un po' superficiali, diciamo, con i racconti dietro le quinte. Mi aspettavo magari qualche dettaglio, qualche curiosità particolare, ma diciamo che non dico che alcune cose le sapevo già, però insomma, non è che abbiano svelato dei segreti così incredibili. Comunque, vediamo poi la seconda parte se, non so, sveleranno qualcosa in più, visto che appunto è una parte 1, mi aspetto una parte 2 un po' più corposa, dove magari svelano qualcosa di più interessante. Giusto un antipasto di quello che poi racconteranno più avanti? Chi lo sa, ragazzi, chi lo sa. Detto questo, quindi mi raccomando, ragazzi, iscrivetevi al canale, arriveranno sicuramente a breve aggiornamenti sull'aggiornamento di Marvel Spider-Man 2, il DLC, il primo, e poi più avanti anche di Spider-Verse, e speriamo anche, ragazzi, la data di Beyond Spider-Verse, che onestamente non so a questo punto quando potrebbe arrivare. Me l'aspetto verso fine anno, sinceramente, perché per adesso forse è difficile anche per loro. Ma comunque, ragazzi, restate comunque attivi, iscrivetevi, notifiche attive, e noi ci vediamo in un prossimo video. Ciao a tutti.